Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya.
Narayanam Namaskritya.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Narum Chaiva Narottamam.
Devam Saraswatim Vyasam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Jayam Madhurayat.
Tato Jayam Ludirayat.
Before reciting the sacred Srimad Bhagavatam, please repeat.
Before reciting Srimad Bhagavatam,
Let us first offer our respectful obeisances unto Lord Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
unto Lord Narayan, the Supreme Personality of
unto
Godhead,
Narayan Rishi,
unto Narayan
the
Rishi,
supremest human being,
most human being,
unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning,
unto Mother Saraswati,
and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author.
Namaste
Namaste Prayeshu Bhadreshu, Bhagavata Sevaya,
Nityam Bhagavatam Sevaya,
Utam Shloka, Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, and by rendering service unto the pure devotee of the Lord, all that is troublesome to the heart. Please repeat. All that is troublesome to the heart,
all that is troublesome to the heart,
is gradually destroyed to nothing.
is gradually destroyed.
And thus loving service of the Supreme Lord, and thus to the Supreme Lord is established as an irrevocable fact.
Irrevocable.
Irrevocable. You know what that means, irrevocable? Hard.
You cannot.
Irrevocable. Irrevocable.
Can't be taken away. Permanent.
Permanent. Which verse is it?
Is that the one you're reading?
I don't know. Yeah, which one am I reading? What does it say?
21.
21?
There's a verse without purport and 21 is with purport.
Oh, okay. So,
20 is the verse,
20.
is it?
20.
So I'll read the Sanskrit and the translation between. Nedur mutundu baya sahasrit raso gandava kim purusha kinam chagu manasvinanena kriyam sudiskaram vidvanadadyad ripaved jagatrayam. Translation: the Gandharvas, the Kimpurushas, and the Kinnaras sounded thousands and thousands of kettle drums and trumpets again and again, and they sang in great jubilations, declaring how exalted a person is Bali Maharaj, and what a difficult task he has performed. Even though he knew that Lord Vishnu was on the side of his enemies, he nonetheless gave the Lord the entire three worlds in charity. Okay, text 21. Please repeat. Tadvamanam rupam avardata bhutam.
Tadvamanam rupam avardata bhutam.
Hare anantasya guna trayatmakam.
Hare anantasya guna trayatmakam.
Bhukam disho dyo vichara payodayas.
Bhukam disho dyo payodayas.
Tiryan hrideva rishayo yadasata.
Tiryan hrideva rishayo yadasata.
Tadvamanam rupam asa avadata bhutam.
Tadvamanam rupam avadata.
Hare anantasya guna trayatmakam.
Hare anantasya gunatrayatmakam.
Ukam disho yor vivarapayodayas.
Rupam disho yorivayodayas.
Suryan videva rishayo yadasata.
Kiryan videva rishayo yadasata.
Ramanam rupam avadata bhutam.
Tadvamanam rupam avadata bhutam.
Hare anantasya guna trayatmakam.
Hare anantasya gunatrayatmakam.
Ukam disho yor vivarapayodayas.
Rupam vishodhyo vivarayodayas.
Kiryan videva rishayo yadasata.
Kiryan videva rishayo yadasata.
Vamanam rupam avadatat bhutam.
Tadvamanam rupam avadata bhutam.
Hare anantasya gunatrayatmakam.
Hare anantasya gunatrayatmakam.
Ukam vishodhyaurvikarapayodayas.
Rupam vishodhyo vivarayodayas.
Kiryan videva rishayo yadasata.
Kiryan videva rishayo yadasata. Tadvamanam rupam avadata bhutam.
Hare Anantasya Gunatrayatmakam.
Hare anantasya gunatrayatmakam.
Ukam Vivodhyam Vivarapayodyas.
Ukam dishodhyo vivarapayodayas.
Siddhyam Videva Rishayam Yadasatam.
Tiryan videva rishayo yadasata. Tadvamanam rupam avadata bhutam. Tadvamanam rupam avadata bhutam. Hare anantasya gunatrayatmakam. Hare anantasya gunatrayatmakam. Ukam dishodhyo vivarapayodayas. Ukam dishodhyo vivarapayodayas. Tiryan videva rishayo yadasata. Tiryan videva rishayo yadasata. Tadvamanam rupam avadata bhutam. Tadvamanam rupam avadata bhutam. Hare anantasya gunatrayatmakam. Hare anantasya gunatrayatmakam. Ukam dishodhyo vivarapayodayas. Ukam dishodhyo vivarapayodayas. Kiryan videva rishayo yadasata. Kiryan videva rishayo yadasata.
Tadvamanam rupam avadata bhutam.
Hare anantasya gunatrayatmakam. Ukam dishodhyo vivarapayodayas. Tiryan videva rishayo yadasata.
Tat, that, Vamanam,
Vamanam,
incarnation of Lord Vamana.
incarnation of Lord Vamana.
Rupam,
Rupam,
form.
form.
Avadata,
Avadata,
began to increase more and more.
began to increase more and more.
Adbhutam,
Adbhutam,
certainly very wonderful.
certainly very wonderful.
Hare,
Hare,
of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Anantasya,
Anantasya,
of the unlimited.
of the limited.
Guna Traya Atmakam,
Gunatraya Atmakam,
whose body is expanded by the material energy,
whose body is expanded by the material energy,
consisting of three modes:
consisting of two modes.
goodness, passion, and ignorance.
Goodness, passion, and ignorance.
Who,
Who,
the land,
the land,
Come,
Come,
the sky.
Sky.
Disha,
Disha,
all directions.
all directions.
Yao,
Yo,
the planetary systems.
planetary systems.
Vivara,
Vivara,
different holes of the universe.
different holes of the universe.
Ayodhaya,
Ayodhya,
great seas and oceans.
great seas and oceans.
Tiryak,
Tyria,
lower animals.
lower animals.
Birds and beasts.
Birds and beasts.
Nri,
Nri,
human beings.
human beings.
Deva,
Deva,
demigods.
demigods.
Rishaya,
Rishya,
great saintly persons.
great saintly persons.
Yet,
Yet,
wherein
wherein
Asata
Asata
lived.
lived.
Translation. The unlimited Supreme Personality of Godhead, who had achieved the form of Vamana, then began increasing in size, acting in terms of the material energy, until everything in the universe was within his body, including the earth, the planetary systems, the sky, the directions, the various holes in the universe, the seas, the oceans, the birds, beasts, human beings, the demigods, and the great saintly persons. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Bali Maharaj wanted to give charity to Vamanadev, but the Lord expanded his body in such a way that he showed Bali Maharaj that everything in the universe is already in his body. Actually, no one can give anything to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for he is full in everything. Sometimes we see a devotee offering Ganges water to the Ganges. After taking his bath in the Ganges, a devotee takes a palmful of water and offers it back to the Ganges. Actually, when one takes a palmful of water from the Ganges,
Report him. Report him.
Same person.
Huh?
I'm British, what do you expect? Actually, when one takes a palmful of water from the Ganges does not lose anything. And similarly, if a devotee offers a palmful of water to the Ganges does not increase in any way. But by such an offering, the devotee becomes celebrated as a devotee of Mother Ganges. Similarly, when we offer anything with devotion and faith, what we offer does not belong to us, nor does it enrich the opulence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But if one offers whatever he has in his possession, he becomes a recognized devotee. In this regard, the example is given that when one's face is decorated with a garland and sandalwood pulp, the reflection of one's face in the mirror automatically becomes beautiful. The original source of everything is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is our original source also. Therefore, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead is decorated, the devotees and all living entities are decorated automatically. Om Aganatam Mandasya Gananana Swakaya Chakram Tamina Tasmai Shri Guruvema Shri Chaitanya Manobhisam Sapitamina Dukale Swayana Bhagaramaya Padasi Savarantikam. One of the first things we have to understand about Krishna is that he's inconceivable. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said that this is the first thing we have to understand, that our brains are limited and Krishna is inconceivable, so we can never completely understand Krishna. But we can understand that there is supreme control in this world because everything is working in a very coordinated fashion. See, the autumn is coming, it'll be cold soon. It's happened every year for the last so many millenniums. And then it'll be spring again, and in this way everything is very well organized. Especially when you live in nature, you see it more. Because living in a city, everything is contradictory, because the demoniac civilization we live in, the Industrial Revolution, has obscured the vision of a supreme controller. So therefore people are very confused. They're bewildered because they think that, these modern gadgets, they have made our lives so much better. Having a washing machine, having a computer, having a motor car, they have made our lives so much better. But actually anyone who's intelligent knows that they've made people's lives so much worse. Because now, people have forgotten about God, and therefore they're more dependent on these gadgets than on God. But they don't realize that everything is coming from God, even the materials that make these gadgets. So they're bewildered. But we see that in every village, practically all over the world, there are beautiful churches. The best buildings in the world are all churches. And every village, and I noticed here in France, you go through the little villages, everywhere has a church, and the church is the nicest building, because actually everybody worshipped God at one time. But unfortunately, because of the industrialization of the world, people have given up faith in God. So we see that especially in the Western countries, and this is why India is so special, because in the Western world, like Notre Dame Cathedral, okay, maybe it's not, I haven't really been inside and checked it out, but it took a lot of time and expense to build that building. I saw one beautiful cathedral in Wales called St. David's, and it was very, very beautiful. And it took 40 years to build it. So why did they build it? They built it because there was somebody called St. David who was a very great devotee of Christ. So that was built, like 1,500 years ago, whatever it was. It still was very beautiful. But nobody goes there anymore because people have lost their faith of God, in God. They've just become absorbed in material life. The Olympic Games, football matches, clothing. So they're very far away from God now. And one of the reasons is, you can compare that to India, where recently, they built the temple in Ayodhya, and so that was celebrating, they installed Lord Ram, and Ram appeared 6 million years ago or something, according, I'm not sure exactly when it was, millions of years ago anyway. So that's the difference between Sanatana Dharma and, this fourth class religion. Of course, we love Christ. Christ gave everything. But he didn't give enough substance to actually change the culture permanently. Whereas it's changed. And even now, you see the Prime Minister, he was there in Ayodhya, and I believe ISKCON was distributing 50,000 plates of prasadam every day. I don't know how many plates, a lot of plates. So Sanatana Dharma, Krishna says, Sarvadhamam pratijam amikam saranamrajaham tam sarvapapebhyo moksheshan nasrichaha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall protect you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. So we don't find any other body of knowledge like the Vedas. The Vedas, Rajavijja, Rajaguyam, the most complete knowledge. And basically, the whole modern world has evolved out of material desires. So all these great empires, the Roman Empire, the Greek Empire, Hungarian Empire, they had an empire too, the British Empire, they have some temporary power, but because it's based on material goals, Dhamma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So first of all, the people are very religious in the West, in England, like America now, apparently one of the most religious countries in the world. so many churches, but follows then Dharma, Artha,
Karma moksha.
Dharma, Artha, Moksha. Dharma, Artha, Karma, Moksha.
Yeah.
So first of all you have the religion, then you have economic development, then you have sense gratification. So we have sense gratification here, then liberation, when people hopefully get sick of chewing the chewed, they will turn to God. And that's what the hippies did. They were dissatisfied with the American dream that, get a nice car, live in the suburbs, work like an ass, play golf for 10 years, and die. There must be more to life than this. So Prabhupada came at an opportune moment when people were sincerely seeking answers, and the only answers to all the questions we might have are in the Vedas. The Vedas are perfect knowledge, and they are very beautiful. So much wonderful information about Krishna's activities and how this material world functions, and Krishna, he's the supreme enjoyer. He expands himself into different demigods, or like Shiva, and then there's Brahma, Vishnu, all of them. It's all amazing because Krishna's just enjoying life. He can't be bothered to do all the nitty-gritty work, so he expands himself into other forms so that he has plenty of freedom to enjoy life. So people are suffering because they don't have any real spiritual information. So the Vedas are the most complete information about everything. Like if I get sick, I'll hopefully go see an Ayurvedic doctor, because Ayurvedic doctors, I have more faith in them than Western doctors. And most Western doctors, the ones I meet, I say I don't trust doctors, and they say I don't blame you. The doctors say that.
Mm-hmm.
Because, most disease is actually caused, by the way you live when you're young. If you live a healthy life when you're young, you because the body is an amazing machine, as a matter of fact. It's incredibly well designed. So if you look after it properly, you're less likely to have all the problems that old people get. So the Vedas, Ayurveda, of course that's just one part of the Vedas. The most important part of the Vedas is how to actually perfect your life. That we're trying to be re-established in our original constitutional position, which is as a perfect servant of Krishna. So this requires an endeavor. It requires hard work. And, because God is not cheap. It's not like, the Christians, I don't know who's watching, but we love Christ. But the point is that, it's not like you go to church once a week and suddenly, you're eligible to go to heaven. I'm saved. I'm going to heaven. So Krishna consciousness, requires a real endeavor. And it requires studying the Vedas, because the faith we have in the beginning, we have to develop that faith with knowledge. That's why Prabhupada wrote so many books. It's not like, you will become perfect if you don't have faith in the scriptures. Because Krishna says, Vedasya Savaraham Vidya Vedantikrit Veda Vedavijaham. By all the Vedas I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of the Vedas and the knower of Vedanta. So we want to know Krishna, so Krishna's appeared as Vyasadeva and wrote the Vedas, and he sent Prabhupada to translate them and to write the commentary. So we have to be very enthusiastic to get more knowledge, because that will give us more faith, and that will give us more of a desire to go back to Godhead. And by practicing sadhana, getting up early in the morning, chanting Hare Krishna, which is, not always so easy to do. But by doing that, by proving your sincerity that Krishna is in your heart, he will actually enlighten you, and he will give you the understanding by which we can go to him. So we're trying to do something which is very difficult, because we've been in the material world for millions of lifetimes, trying to enjoy, and this is new to us in a way, practicing spiritual life, giving up material life. But it's actually natural for the soul. When we're established in a constitutional position of servitorship to the Lord, then it's natural. But there will be tests. Krishna consciousness is a straight road back to Godhead, but there's ups and downs, even for great devotees like Sanatana Goswami. Just an example, he's a great devotee, Sanatana Goswami. But he was tested by Lord Chaitanya, because when Lord Chaitanya was in Puri, Sanatana Goswami, he developed these running sores on his body. His body was oozing. I don't know what the French is for oozing. Oozing? Probably not.
Pus coming out.
Yes.
Moisture was coming from his body.
Leaking.
Is it leprosy?
No. You may also have it sometimes. I had it on my finger the other day. It's like an open sore and there's little pus coming out.
Anyway, so Sanatana Goswami had these sores all over his body, because he'd drunk some bad water in the Jharkhand jungle. So when he went to see Lord Chaitanya, who was living in Puri at the time, he would go, he had all these sores on his body, he would actually walk on the beach, which was very, very hot. Jagannath Puri is a hot place. And so the sand is very hot. So it would burn his feet, because he didn't want to go through the busy area of Puri, because he didn't want to touch his body against any of the pujaris. He didn't want to contaminate them. So he went the long route on the beach, and his feet got burnt, but still he'd rather do that. And then when he came before Lord Chaitanya would embrace him. And he felt so bad that Lord Chaitanya would embrace his contaminated body. Actually, Jayananda Prabhu, you've heard of Jayananda. So Jayananda, he was a very humble person, actually. When Prabhupada, he was told, you can drive Srila Prabhupada in New York, because Jayananda actually kind of organized the Rath Yatra, and he built the Rath Yatra car, Toshan Krishna Jayananda. It was the first time in New York, down Fifth Avenue, the most important street in New York. So Jayananda, as a kind of a acknowledgement of all the work he'd done. Actually, I went with Srila Prabhupada. He went on a morning walk, and all the book distributors were invited to go on the morning walk, and we walked down to where Jayananda was building the Rath cart. In 1976 it was, and Jayananda was there in his dirty jeans, and he was fixing the Rath cart, and Prabhupada, So Jayananda was given the opportunity to drive Srila Prabhupada, which is a real privilege, which most devotees would jump at the opportunity to drive Srila Prabhupada. But he said, no, I can't do that. I'm too contaminated. So, that's Jayananda. So Lord Chaitanya, he was embracing Sanatana Goswami. And Sanatana Goswami felt so bad that he wanted to kill himself. So therefore, he thought of throwing himself under the wheels of the Rath Yatra cart And Lord Chaitanya said no, because he knew what he was thinking. The super soul knows what we're thinking all the time, so you have to be very careful. So the super soul, or Lord Chaitanya, knew what he was thinking. He said, no, you cannot kill yourself, because that body is my body, and I have many devotional acts and services I want you to perform. And then he was advised by Jagadananda Panda to go to Vrindavan. And then Lord Chaitanya found that out, and he told he told Sanatana Goswami, well, he chastised Jagadananda Panda. He said, you're just a new boy. But actually Jagadananda Panda was an incarnation of Satyabhama, Krishna's favorite queen in Dwarka, who was actually Radharani. Yeah. Anyway, so he found out that Jagadananda had told him to go to Vrindavan. He said, no, don't listen to him. And then some other things happened, I can't remember what exactly. Then one time he embraced him, and all his sores went away. And Lord Chaitanya said, and this is inconceivable, because everything that Krishna does is inconceivable. So Lord Chaitanya is Krishna. He said that actually you and Haridas Thakur are like my little children. I'm like your mother, Lord Chaitanya said. And when a mother is the child, the baby of the mother, when they pass the school, then to the mother, that is very wonderful. She's it smells like this very nice substance, chatushama, which is sandalwood paste and camphor and musk. So the mother's very attached to the child, because the child comes from the mother, and the mother, feeds the child with the breast milk. So Lord Chaitanya said that you and Haridas Thakur are like my little children. So your body smells just like this Chatur Sama. So Lord Chaitanya, he's very merciful, being an incarnation of Krishna. And he performed many inconceivable activities. Of course, here, Bali Maharaj, he is surrendered to Vamanadev. And Vamanadev, being an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in only 2 steps, he covered half the universe. Because he had told Bali Maharaj, when Bali Maharaj offered him 3 steps of land, that's all he wanted. He said, well, I only want 3 steps of land. People should be satisfied with living very simply. You've just read the purport. I haven't read it yet, but I read it before. But he said that, and because I want people to live, Prabhupada said, we're trying to establish simple, devotees should be satisfied with very little, so therefore we've established so many farms, especially in America, where people can practice simple living and high thinking and be satisfied with very little. So it is a fact that when you live close to nature, you can be more satisfied, because nature is more nourishing. But we're so conditioned to living in a city, it's very hard to live in nature. I have a farm, most of you know that. So, I wouldn't say I'm a farmer, but living close to nature is definitely a lot more satisfying. You see the beautiful, well, you see the sun come up for one thing. Without hearing all the jets. I was standing out there was a jet every 1 minute, practically. Maybe it was a busy time.
We even had jets yesterday at New Mayapur. When we were leaving, 2 jets came shooting over the
Anyway, jet loca.
jet lag, suffering from jet lag.
So anyway, yeah, so living close to nature, you see how wonderful Krishna's material energy is. If the material energy is so wonderful, just like the lemon trees, okay, I got lemon trees, you can't grow them yet. But the aroma, the lemon blossom is so beautiful. And then you have orange blossom, very beautiful. And then, magically, a tiny little orange starts to appear. And each fruit has their own specific beautiful blossom. Like persimmons, they have another blossom. Guavas, they have another beautiful. They're all so amazing. Krishna's so clever. And they all come out of the same dirt, the same soil, but each one has a different taste, different flavor. And when the fruit's ripe, you see, it doesn't all get ripe simultaneously. Because if it did, you wouldn't be able to eat it all at once. So therefore, Krishna very kindly made it get ripe in different stages. And it only comes off the tree when it's ripe. So it's all so well organized. Yeah. And even the Corella, it's hot there in Florida, so you can grow Corella. I saw trying to grow it at New Mayapur, but I don't think it's hot enough. So we grow Corella, and even the blossom of the Corella is very sweet smell. So, living simply, this is what Prabhupada wanted, but we're so, we're so not used to living in the country, living close to nature. So, although, book distribution is meant for helping people, but it also helps us because we're not ready to live in the country. So we can live in the city and distribute books. But book distribution is very important, as we know. People become devotees when they go out and distribute books. That's the best way to make devotees, going out meeting people. And so, we should be very enthusiastic to give people knowledge, because it's the only chance they have. They don't have any chance to perfect their lives if they don't meet a devotee. They just suffer for lifetime after lifetime. If they don't know about Krishna consciousness, they will be born again and again. And there's so few devotees. And so, this is such an important work. Prabhupada was so happy when people distributed books. And so happy, when people tried to establish temples. He said when people went off to establish a temple, he said he would take dust from their feet. Even, Goswami, Krishnadas Kaviraj, he was so humble. He said, I will take the dust, I will beg the permission of the devotees that I can take the dust from their feet. Any devotee who reads Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's so many people read Chaitanya Charitamrita, they're not all pure devotees. Some of them may be very fallen. But he takes the dust from their feet. I beg the permission, I want to put it on my head. So this is humility. But, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, all the books are so important. And we have to read these books, because if you read the books, of course, if we're intelligent, Krishna consciousness is so obviously true. As far as, most people don't even believe in reincarnation. Even though reincarnation is so logical, and it's been proven that people can remember previous lives. So who else is teaching reincarnation? Maybe, I think there's one church, what's that church called? Anyway, a lot of them are vegetarians, a lot of them live in California. Some of them live to be over 100 years of age. It's another Christian religion, as the Seventh-day Adventists, actually. Seventh-day Adventists. They are more higher Christians than a lot of them. But even they don't know who God is. So which other religion knows who God is? So India is so special, that's why in the 5th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bharatvarsha is glorified, because India is where Krishna always appears. All the different incarnations of God, they always appear in India. And so, Indian people, don't want anyone to get puffed up because they're Indian, but generally they're the most intelligent people. They win there was one British 8-year-old grand chess master, only 8 years of age. She represents England in the international chess games. 8 years old. It's amazing.
English?
British Indian.
Yes.
Yeah. Of course, the one Indian boy, I can't remember his name, but it ends with Shiva something. But every Indian has a name that has some spiritual meaning. You can ask any Indian. Even when Indians, they go, like some of them go to a place like Suriname or Guyana, for generations they've been there. But their name, Ramdani, the wealth of Ram. So, but Krishna appeared in India, so therefore, the culture. A lot of times, Indian people have a culture that they're very hospitable. We don't see that in Western people. Western people are just, of course, not all Indian people are like that. But we're trying to spread this knowledge because it is the only way that people will ever be happy. So devotees, one of the qualities of a devotee is to be merciful. Krishna is very merciful. Krishna comes to the material world. Out of compassion, I dwelling in their house, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge, darkness. How's the rest of it going? Anyway, Krishna says, I dwelling in their house, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness pulled. Out of compassion for them, I dwelling in their house. Huh? Yeah, that's another one. Yeah. So Krishna, he can do it, but generally, most people, he says to those who are constantly devoted, but we don't find many people who are constantly devoted. We can't watch. What time is it supposed to finish?
9.
What time is it finish? 9?
9ish.
9ish. Okay, so yeah. So when we go out, we distribute a book, we meet some, we can change their life completely just by talking to them, just by giving them a book. So, they may never have another chance in millions of lifetimes. So therefore, devotees, book distribution is such an important service that people, like Robert said, they just touch the book or they read one word, they get some benefit. So, we love the Harinam, we love the book distribution, going out, trying to find one sincere soul. You have to sift through a lot of people to find one sincere soul. And people nowadays are very confused about life. But there are, we do believe in Lord Chaitanya's prediction that this would spread to every town and village. That, Krishna consciousness will have a golden era, because we see that gradually, people are evolving now that, 200 years ago, whatever, we were slaves. Now there's, even people kind of, in America anyway, this is probably here, I'm sure, you know, people are concerned about animal slaughter. So now, you know, even if you say something wrong to somebody of a different race, a derogatory thing, you can be taken to court. Now, you know, 200 years ago, they were chaining people up, you know, sticking them on boats. So many people died in transit from Africa, America, UK. They couldn't do that now. So things are improving somewhat. So it's all due to Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement. But, you know, Prabhupada wanted even the leaders to be devotees. So we have a long way to go. We should try to, you know, see that until the world is Krishna conscious everywhere in the world, then we have a lot of work to do. We have to pray for the strength, to have the determination, because it's not easy. And staying in one place is very important, which I, you know, in my life, because my life is practically over, but I have one big regret, that I didn't really stay in one place, because actually you can't really accomplish so much. Most people, of course, Indra Swami, he's unique personality. If you know him, he travels, he puts on festivals. But for most devotees, you know, we need to stay in one place and develop a particular temple, because nothing will develop nicely unless devotees surrender to staying in one place. Because you can't build a community, and I was just in Wales. You know where Wales is?
Yeah.
Cardiff?
Yeah.
Wales, okay. So one devotee there, his name is Tarakanath. He's from Cardiff. So he decided like 40 years ago that he was going to establish a temple in Cardiff. He never lived in a temple himself, actually. He really wanted to establish a temple in his hometown. So, you know, gradually he was going out, distributing books by himself, practically speaking. And a few people came, and so now, you know, he has a whole Sankirtan army. He has about 20 brahmacharis going out, distributing books and collecting money. They've collected about 4 million pounds, more than euros, pounds. And they're building this very unique temple. And it's all because he stayed in one place. He had that desire. So of course, traveling sannyas is another thing, if you're vanaprastha, you know. But, you know, staying in one place and trying to develop a particular area is the only way that temple is going to become stable and strong. So, you know, if you sometimes have to go away for a month or something, you know, but come back, commit yourself, because I really regret that I didn't do that, but, you know, I have some excuses. Okay. Any questions or comments?
An interesting word there in the verse, Vivaraha. In the verse,
What's that mean?
Vivaraha. These are various holes in the universe.
Black holes?
Well, that's what I wonder if it's related. I'm just making a comment, not asking a question. It's just interesting you mentioned that, various holes in the universe. If there are holes in the universe, what do you mean? What are holes in the universe?
Yeah, well, scientists, you know, sometimes they can be smart.
They
You
don't
know,
know.
Isaac Newton, he was the smartest scientist. He totally, you know what he said, right? He said, every discovery I've made has been in answer to prayers. When I walk on the vast shore of knowledge and I find one little pebble of knowledge, it's in answer to my prayers. When I look at my thumb, I can't help but wonder at the intelligence of God.
Didn't Einstein also say something in that regard?
Einstein worshipped Isaac Newton.
He said something like that. The more you have developing knowledge, the more convinced you are that God must have done something. There's no other answer.
Yeah, but it's hard, this whole materialistic society, started by the British, pretty much, Industrial Revolution.
Yeah.
Blame the British. What's it called? The theory, Darwin's theory. It's easy to prove it wrong, you know how? Because the oldest language in the world is Sanskrit, but it's the most complicated language. It takes 12 years to learn the grammar, and the vocabulary is a lot bigger than English. So obviously people were more intelligent previously. So we couldn't have evolved. Anyway, yeah.
Just a funny story of Prabhupada. Like once Prabhupada, Prabhupada liked to play devil's advocate with devotees.
Yeah.
Argument with devotees. So Prabhupada asked devotees to be devil's advocate, to represent Darwin. And Prabhupada was defeating all their arguments.
Yeah.
So Prabhupada said that, where is the evolution? You are still being monkeys.
Yeah. He said the more you kick Darwin in the face, the more advanced you are. With your boots. But it doesn't make sense. They teach Darwin's theory in India.
Yes.
Right? In school. They teach it in school. But they know that Sanskrit's the oldest language. But you see, they got so dumbed down by the British, the Indians.
Yes.
They really just tried to destroy their culture. So much so that if you don't speak English in India, you're considered uneducated, right?
Dumb person, yes.
You're dumb. The British were powerful, but they didn't do a lot of good. Okay, Hare Krishna. No questions? Yeah?
You were speaking about staying in one place.
About what?
Staying in one place.
Staying in one place, yeah.
In my previous temple, I saw some young brahmacharis come and go. They were traveling around, distributing books from one place to another.
Well, that's okay.
And I never had the chance to do that because I've never been a book distributor. So I was forced to stay in one place
Really?
for several years.
7 years?
Several.
Where was that?
Norway.
Norway. You Norwegian?
No, I'm Swedish.
Ah, I see.
But it was a neighboring country.
Yeah.
So I was there, staying, developing in one place, and I never had the freedom to go out and travel even the way I would like to.
Right.
So I was forced to stay there, and I don't regret it. I'm very happy that I did. Because you learn to be satisfied with
that's a good point. Exactly.
Yeah. Because I was always under authority all the time telling me what to do. So my false ego was grinded down.
Wow.
And I became satisfied where I was.
That's
and learned to be
fantastic.
happy in that environment.
Wow.
But I see those who come and go, and they're always restless. And
Well, you're very intelligent. This boy's very intelligent.
yeah, so now
It's a fact.
I'm very happy that I never had a chance to distribute books, get a lot of money, and just go wherever I wanted. Because these people, they have difficulty in being satisfied and in being good. So, I can definitely recommend that to just stay in.
Yeah, of course, traveling around isn't necessarily bad if you're distributing books. But at the same time, if your mind is peaceful, staying in one place, we need to have solid devotees in the temples, and that's a good sign that you can do that if you're satisfied like that. That's really good. I admire you, honestly do. You can stay here. What are you, why are you still in Norway?
No, now I start to move into the Mauritian yatra in Mauritius.
What?
Mauritius.
You're moving to Mauritius?
Yeah.
Oh my God, why are you going there?
Blessings from Gurudev.
Who's doing it?
Bhakti-Vikas.
Oh, I see, okay.
I saw you last
He's
year.
involved in Mauritius?
He's not involved there, but I spoke to him, told him about the situation, that it's going very well. I feel very strong spiritually and bodily and everything. And I asked to have the blessings to build up yatra here with some other devotees. I said, yeah.
You're doing some project there? Some
Yeah.
self-sufficient project?
Yeah, we will
Oh,
start
self-sufficiency.
something from the ground there.
Well, there's already one devotee there who does that, right? What's his name? Yeah, he's a Prabhupada disciple.
Arjuna?
No, not Arjuna.
Yeah, Moses.
Arjuna's an architect.
Yeah.
There's another one, and Madhava, the singer,
Yeah, he's from there.
his wife ran off with Madhava.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name.
They don't have any.
So you're getting some land or something?
We're working on it.
Oh, okay.
But it's been blessed by Bhakti-Vikas.
Well, you like hot weather after?
No, particularly no. Definitely not.
Mauritius is a very, very humid place.
But, oh God, it's terrible. I'm from Sweden. I'm used to snow.
Yeah, I know.
It's
I hope
terrible.
I hope, yeah.
Yeah.
Just see if you stay there.
But I felt more healthy, in a way. But the heat is just. I could turn it off. That would be nice.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Shrimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Oh, Sri Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Prabhus, after either, I don't know if breakfast is ready, if it's ready, fine. But straight after breakfast, we need many devotees, as many as possible, to carry the books from the vehicle into the book room and sort them out. So that will be as quickly as possible after breakfast. Okay, we can open it. 3 or 4 devotees can unload the car and put the books in the book room in the right places.
Jai.
After, so don't dilly-dally for hours on end at breakfast, please.
So when are you going to Mauritius? You don't know?
I'll go back in December. Krishna will.
You've been there already?
Yeah,
Uh,
I came from there. Actually, no.
you came from there. Why'd you come here?
Me and the rest of the Sankirtan party will go around a little, look for, preach a little, look for if there are any devotees who would like to join in this project.
Or you're trying to steal devotees?
Not steal, definitely not here.
We warned him before he came.
Yes.
we had a
Maharaj has already
conversation.
told me that please, he begged me that please don't take anyone, so I promised not to take
And
anyone.
anyway, the weather's no use over there, it's nice and warm up here, it's
Yeah.
horrible over there.
But we already have 2
Wet and
devotees who want to join us.
2 devotees from where?
One is from, he's born in Atlanta. He's a disciple of Sankarshan.
Back to who?